Hello student, I am Snehal from KLE Society's BCA College Dipani. So till time we covered with the 4 techniques of the black box testing techniques that are nothing but the requirement based testing. Then the second is nothing but the positive and negative testing. The third is nothing but the equivalence partitioning. We covered with the border value analysis testing technique and we covered the decision table testing technique. So these are the 4 these are the 4 basically the black box testing techniques are there. Now with these techniques, now we are going to focus on the next testing techniques of the black box testing, that is nothing but the equivalence partitioning. So the equivalence partitioning is behave same like our boundary value analysis testing technique. So in this techniques or in this session we are going to focus on the equivalence partitioning. Now in the equivalence partitioning, so the equivalence partitioning, now the equivalence partitioning is the test case design testing technique. What it is a test case design testing technique. It is used to divide the input data of the software. Why we are using the equivalence partitioning? It is basically used to divide the input data, okay, to input data of the software into the different equivalence data classes. Where we are going to divide it? We are going to divide the number of inputs into the different input data classes. That is the equivalence partitioning. I am again going to repeat it. That is the equivalence partitioning. The equivalence partitioning is a test case design technique which is used to divide the input, data of the software, into the different equivalence data classes. So the test cases are designed for the equivalence. Where we are going to consider the test cases are designed for the equivalence data classes. The equivalence partitionings are frequently derived from the requirement specification. See what they have stated, the test cases are designed for the equivalence data classes. Means what? When we are going to divide the input into the different equivalence data classes, then we are going to generate the different types of test cases. And these equivalence partitions are frequently derived from the requirement specification. Now these requirement specifications are basically considered as the requirements that which we are going to collect in the requirement analysis phase of the software development life cycle, which is the first phase of the software development life cycle. And in that phase we are going to maintain the software requirement specification. That is nothing but we are going to generate the documentation of the requirement which we are going to collect. So the test cases are designed for the equivalence data classes. The equivalent classes are frequently derived from the requirement specification for the input data that influences the processing of the test object. Now see why this is required. Now when we are having the number of inputs with us, then what is required? We need to divide it into the equivalent data classes, and according to that we can say that equivalent test objects are going to be generated. Now the objects are portions which are going to be tested based on the conditions which we are going to be specified in the requirement analysis specification. So here we can say that a use of this method is there to reduce the time necessary, okay, it is there to reduces the time for the testing software using the less and the effective test cases. Now why we are using actually the equivalent data partitioning or the equivalent partitioning? See, if we are having a number of input data with us and to test each and everything, it is not possible for us. So for that purpose, what we are going to do, that we are going to divide that input data into the equivalent data classes. Now what are the equivalent data classes over here? That is nothing but, see, if we are taking the input, now suppose we want to check the number numbers which are prime from 1 to 11. Now 1 to 11 means what? We are going to checking the numbers which are present in between the 1 to 11. Okay, so if the user is trying to enter the number which is less than 1, then it should not be get accepted. If the number is in between the 1 to 11, then it is a valid portion, or it is the we can say that the valid partitioning which we are going to consider. And if it is above than 11, then also it should not be get considered. Why? Because what we needed to find out, we needed to find out the prime numbers in between 1 to 11. So how many prime numbers are present in between the 1 to 11? A 1 is there, a 3 is there, then the 7 is there, a 5 is there, and the 11 is there. So 1, 3, 5, 7 and the 11. So these four are the prime numbers which are present in between the 1 to 11. So how many equivalence partitionings we are going to do? First is the valid partition, that is nothing but the numbers which are present in between the 1 to 11. The second invalid partition, that is nothing but the number which are less than 11, and the third equivalent partitioning is nothing but the number which are greater than 11. So that is that. So this equivalent partitioning is nothing but the equivalence class partitioning. What we are going to say it as a, we are going to call it as the equivalence class partitioning. And again also we are going to consider as a ECP. What we are going to consider? We are going to consider it as a ECP. Okay. So now it can be used at any level of the software. It can be used at the any level of the software for testing. It can be used at the any level of the software for testing, and it is preferably a good technique for the user to use first. It is preferably good technique. Now why? See, what we are going to consider, you are going to understand it easily. Which example I told you? See, what we needed to find out, we needed to find out the prime numbers in between the 1 to 11. So 1 to 11 is the valid range which we are going to generate the test, where we are going to generate the test case. It is the one of the valid range. Now invalid means what? A number which is less than 11 and number is greater than 11. These both are the invalid. So in this way we are going to generate the different types of test cases, and these test cases scenarios are going to be again converted into the development processes or the development phases which we needed to consider. Okay, so that is the equivalence partitioning. Okay, now in this techniques only the one condition to be tested. In this technique only the one condition to be tested from each partition. Only the one condition to be tested from each partition. Because if we assume that only a one condition, see what we are going to assume that all the conditions are in a one partitions. Okay, behave in a same manner by the software. See, partitions are there. Okay, now see, for better understanding you need to consider that what I said you that consider a we are going to consider a prime numbers. Okay, prime number in between 1 to 11. So what is the valid range? Numbers between 1 to 11. Okay, now means what? Whatever may be the numbers are present in between the 1 to 11, it will behave same like for all the numbers. Okay, that partition. Now what is the invalid? Now the invalid range is numbers less than 1. This is the first. So whatever may be the numbers are which are less than 1, where we are going to consider that test case or that partition is going to be behave same for all the numbers which are present in that partition. Now again the one more valid partition is numbers greater than 11. Okay, so for whatever may be the numbers which are present greater than 11, for all that numbers we are going to say that what we are going to say that it behaves same like that. So what we have stated over that partition. Only the one condition to be tested from each partition, because we assume that all the condition in a one partition which should be behave in a same manner by the software. So whatever may be the numbers which are present in this partition, and in this partition, it will behave same for all that numbers. Okay. So in a partition, if a one condition works, other will definitely work. Which means that if it is working for in between the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11. Now if it is working for 1, then we can say that it is working for all this rest of the numbers. So that is the equivalence pattern, which part is not covered in the boundary value analysis. Now we can say that. So likewise we assume that if one of the condition does not work, then any of the condition in that partition will work. Definitely, if one of the condition does not work, which means that or whatever maybe the numbers are present in that partition, it will not get work. So that is the equivalence partitioning. So what is the equivalence partitioning? In equivalent partitioning, it is a test case design technique which is used to divide the input data of the software into the different equivalence data classes. It is also called as a equivalence class partitioning, or it is also called as a ECP. What it is called as a? It is called as a ECP. Okay. So this is the equivalence. So there test cases are designed for the equivalence data classes, and the equivalence partitionings are frequently derived from the requirement specification for the input data that influences the process of the test object, which are necessary. According to that, we are going to generate the equivalence partitioning. So this is the equivalence partitioning actually. So now for better understanding of the equivalence partitioning, now we are going to consider the example on the equivalence partitioning. Now consider a text field is there. Okay, consider a text field. Now this text field is there which is permitted to enter only the characters, numeric characters, which is permitted only, or which is there for only to enter the numeric characters. So the length must be 6 to 10 characters long. What is the length? Okay, a text field is there. Now this is the text field. Now this text field is there which is required to enter numeric character. The range is what? 6 to 10 characters. What is the range? The range is there for the 6 to 10 characters. So the partitions can be done according to the requirement should be like this. Okay. So we needed to do over here the partitions. So how the partitions are there? Now while the equivalence partitioning, okay, in the evaluating the equivalence partitioning, values in all the partitions are equivalent, that's why. Okay. While evaluating the equivalence partitioning, values in all the partitions are equivalent, that's why. Okay. So first is why 0 and 5 are equivalent to 6 and 10 and equivalent to 10 and 14 are equivalent. See, at the time of testing, now how many they are considered? They consider from 0 to 5, 6 to 10 and from 11 to 14. So at the time of testing, the test 4 and 12, okay, the test 4 and 12 are 12 as invalid values and 7 as the valid words. Now why we are going to say that? Now the 4 number is coming in between the 0 to 5. Now the 7 is coming in between 6 to 10 and the 12 is coming in between the 11 to 14. Okay, so what we are going to say that at the time of testing, the test 4 and the test 12 are invalid. given us a valid range as 6 to 10. So these both are the invalid, 4 and 12, and 7 as the valid one. So it is very easy to test the input ranges 6 to 10. Okay, but the harder to test the input ranges from 2 to 16. Yes, definitely. Why? Because the ranges are very, we can say that a number of inputs may be anything, whatever maybe the user is going to enter. So the testing will be easy in the case of the lesser the test cases, but you should be very careful. Why? Because we had covered only the 0 to 5 and 11 to 14, but the numbers are present below that also and above 14 also. So it is very difficult to test or to generate the test cases for each and every numbers, numeric characters, we can say that. So assume that the valid input is 7 over here. Why valid input is 7? It is considered as because it is present in the range of 6 to 10. It is present in the range of 6 to 10. That means you believe that the developer coded the correct valid range. So for the understanding of that, see, we have created the three equivalence partitions, 0 to 5. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These all are the invalid numbers. Now what are the valid numbers over here? 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. So whatever will the numbers which are coming in between this range, all are the valid. If it is going to satisfy for the only 6, then we can say that it is going to be satisfied up to 10 only. Okay. Now again one more partition is there, which is there for what? 11, 12, 13, 14. Again it is there for the invalid range or the invalid equivalence partition. We can say that. Why? Because it should not get satisfy the criteria which they have stated. So what they have stated the criteria, there is one text field. It is required to enter the numeric characters. The range is there, that is nothing but 6 to 10. So only this partition is the valid partition to enter the numeric characters. The remaining two are the considered as the invalid partition. So this is nothing but the what? The equivalence partition. Okay, and we can say that the equivalence class partition. So if the valid input classes are there, it keeps same. Valid inputs are there. Okay, if the valid input classes are there, it keeps for, or that is nothing but it keeps all the valid inputs. If the valid input classes are there, keeps all valid input. Okay. Again, what we needed to consider over here, if the invalid input class are there, it keeps all the invalid inputs. If the invalid input classes are there, then it keeps all invalid input classes. It keeps all invalid input classes. So that is the equivalence partition. So the example of this is the equivalence partitioning. So this is the one technique of the black box testing technique. Now in this in the next session we are going to move further for the next black box testing techniques.